They don't serve alcohol. And she said, "You want something to drink?" I said, "No, I'm greasy." Then I thought, "You have coffee?" She said, "Yeah, I'll have it." She goes, "It is cold." I was so cold. No, actually, during the week it's not. In the weekend it is. Maybe, but it was. Our pancake's ready. God, it was.
She's not hungry. The one back there in the black and white.
She's not, huh?
Yeah.
What was it? She said you're not hungry.
She's not hungry. She's gonna give this to Angie.
I wish you guys wanted. You guys want it? We have to stick with the black apron stuff.
You guys do.
Whoa, there you almost lost it. Don't ever leave me. Whoops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I suppose I'm next, so, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Debbie gets to be first in line.
That's what I was telling you. We're waiting you both eyes.
Let me in first. Nobody will be in.
I'll let you go.
Don't rush cook before I eat.
You know what I got where I was going to take pictures? I get it.
City train.
Nice little thing.
I want to start walking.
I know, that's it. That's what
You know what I did? I did a block. Then I got a dog, so you're going to walk the dog.
You don't laugh.
You have to crack jokes now.
Huh?
You have to crack jokes to the customers.
Oh, no jokes, no. The joke people are gone.
Buy tickets a
No
second
Mike's in
time.
line.
Mike's in line now.
I go every day after work. I can only take one day off.
Time to get broke in, son.
Very much. Good.
Yes, ladies.
Have a sausage, Jim.
Good close-up shot.
One?
Yeah. No, I'll have two.
Hey, you can have 3 if you want.
Well, I haven't started dieting yet.
Okay, well then you can have 3. We don't
No,
care.
no. Well, I'm not a pig. I just want.
Come on, Bay, to be honest.
We have plenty. We have plenty. There's more syrup here. We have either cube or soft butter. Your choice. Regular coffee's on the end and juice and milk is this end.
Well, this is real nice, isn't it?
One year late, I got away with putting a bottle on Hazel's plate. I slipped one on the bottom and I put a done one on top. And she didn't care, so she put that out. Needless to say, I was in trouble.
It's time.
Good time.
Not me, it's plenty. You got your silverware, Rob?
Plasticware, I should say.
We'll find out real soon about you.
Yeah, all right. Bob needs a wheelchair. Bob, where? Yeah. Okay, I'll go over there. Just call.
Oh, he's not there yet?
He said he's supposed to be out there waiting.
I'll go right now.
Really? He's in the greenhouse too.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what we use. Buttermilk.
And make it longer.
Buttermilk. Buttermilk. Now it was I had to admit because
He was the first one here.
I know. She's never hard.
High mountain, slow creek, you know, no farm. The elements.
Everything.
That was quite a
Get your extra patty. Well, you know what I do? About once a month, I just get a soda.
take any time coming back to the park station and get right on. You know. It took us longer to get from Pleasantville back to Manteca than it did to get.
I did.
I like the sauce.
Over there.
See if it'll raise it up.
Pretty healthy here.
You better be. Thank you. One is up. One is
Hi, how you doing? Ready?
Just my luck. Looks good, guys.
Because I don't want to contribute to the campaign.
I don't know everybody's name. You're Ben. Bean. Okay, I'm Clarence Louie. I know who you are. Class schedule, that is.
And then the other thing that
Your staff here too? Okay. Division chair.
that's the inequity. If they teach a one-unit
Well,
class,
you're not scared to
fall,
fall. You're scared to go to work.
basically,
Except that. Oh, they didn't tell you that. He's not afraid. Cut that off.
so a person that doesn't teach much. Right, so you teach
Oh, yeah.
$12, yeah. See, the letter just says 112 a year when they take 112, no matter what. So it didn't say that's where the confusion of the letter was. It didn't say you want to pay $112 no matter what.
Can't control that.
He has to understand, the secretaries come in the middle of the morning and they want the small ones, not the big ones. They'll only take one each now. But we haven't had a person leave yet.
Too small.
We're starving.
All right. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, I know. You don't? Why don't you share some? Okay. Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm hungry.
Really hungry.
I think one will be
Two.
fine.
He makes great jokes.
I'll take that one. Let me have one on top.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sense.
Get started, and you've got a full program this morning, but I want to welcome those who had the summer off back. I want to welcome those of you who are new to us, and why don't all of you who have been employed in the last 12 months stand up? Just stand up. First of all, I want to welcome every one of you and thank you for joining this family. You will get an opportunity to meet these people in a short while when they're introduced by the leaderships from the various groups. But I just want to say this is only a partial group. The rest are still eating. Some are working. Really appreciate you being part of this group. You'll also meet some new administrators. We've hired, well, what we do, Al accuses me of taking your presidents of the CTA. We do. We've chosen the last two presidents other than Al for administrative positions, and there's going to be an election, and we've already offered the two candidates an administrative position if they succeed. Isn't that right, Al? Just kidding. We really are glad that Dr. Jennings and Dr. Wetstein have joined the administration in the last year. It's been a nice continuity to have. You will meet all of the new people in a few minutes. Last year I opened this welcome address by saying this is a wonderful day. No day is filled with more eager anticipation than the first day of a new academic year. I still say that. I believe that every year. I get charged up at this moment about what we do, and that's educate students. And on Monday, we'll meet so many students with open minds and minds that will quite probably collect more riches from our teaching faculty and from our counselors and our librarians and all the rest of us than they will accumulate in the rest of their lives. And we will make and change a lot of individuals who have been knocked down 7 times only to get up the 8th time with eager anticipation that the education they will get at Delta College will prevent them from being knocked down again. And I, for one, am excited about these challenges that students bring, and I'm happy to play my very small part to assist those students to learn and to keep on learning as long as there is something that they do not know. And in return, hopefully you will gain great happiness. The knowledge that I've helped another person reach the goal is what motivates me to be, and I'm just proud to have a little part in that. My goal this morning is to give you a picture of the state of the college by focusing on a few remarks of what has happened in the past year, talk a little bit about our expectations for the coming year, and finally, I will end with that dreaded discussion about budget that none of you like to hear, but you need to hear. It's not all what you read in the paper, and I'll talk about that. Last year, again, I started with a humorous look at the presidency and concluded that you really didn't care, or half of you were glad it happened to me, so I'm not going to do that this year. I am going to tell you a little bit and move right into my marks. I also said that there's a quote that I particularly like, and after we dedicated the year to our former colleague, Roseanne Burt, I talked about the quote of very few burdens are heavy if everyone lifted. And today I can say that all of us, our classified staff, our faculty, our management colleagues, the administration, and prove that we can lift together, and the burden that we had last year was very, very light because of that lifting. And last year I challenged you to work with me to create a climate where we all work collaboratively, and we created a positive culture and climate on this campus. And I asked each of you to play a role to help students succeed. And I asked you to work with me to break down old beliefs, old ways of doing things, and recognize our similarities in what we do well and how we work together, as opposed to focusing on our differences. And I asked all of us to practice personal integrity and trustworthiness so we can develop that climate of trust and that culture of collaboration. And I suggested that we work with one another and with students to allow freedom of expression and diversity of opinion, and that we exercise our abilities to disagree agreeably. And I could sum up, although we slipped a little bit on emails and I was part of the problem, I could sum up the year that we accomplished that, or we made great strides in that direction in the last year. And I want to applaud all of you because it's your efforts that made that happen. When I look at what we did for students in the past year and how we conducted the governance of the institution, I believe we made great strides towards lifting together. One of our goals was to increase student retention. We met that goal of 3% increase and exceeded it by almost double. We did so because we worked collaboratively to work on this problem with new ideas, with the use of technology. And you, the faculty, made an extra effort to see that students who walked through your doors succeeded. We put money back into instructional supplies that had been cut. We developed new systems of early identification of students in trouble, and we started learning communities and enhanced support services to help students succeed. We lifted together and proved that we were simply the best community college anywhere. And although we can and must do much more to help students succeed, I'm very, very pleased with the progress we have made, and more importantly, in the manner in which we attacked the problem. We also did a very remarkable job, even though we didn't meet our enrollment expectations. And in doing so, we not only avoided fiscal crisis, but just by letting you know that we needed to retain more students, we needed to do our best to add more sections, and that we needed to be frugal in our spending, we ended the year with a very healthy fiscal ending balance. And it's because of all of your work and the leadership of the administrators, and particularly the vice presidents, that we accomplished that goal. And that's going to lead us well into this coming year. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but as you know, we had some $1.7 million cut from our base in the areas of instructional equipment and deferred maintenance. We also worked together to develop an idea and implementation teams. And those ideas and implementation teams were in the already mentioned recruitment and retention area and in marketing. Those teams will continue to work together to improve both of those areas. But their efforts, along with the outreach efforts of student services under Michael Kearns, Ina Hull, Steve Arenas' direction, our enrollments are up, and they're up huge. Some of that has to do with Cal Grants. And I want to applaud our financial aid people and our outreach efforts for being simply the best in the state of getting new students to come to an institution to take advantage of a new program. You read about that program across the state and you find that it's been underutilized. But at Delta College, it's being utilized and utilized well, and it's because of the work of our financial aid people. Let me talk a little bit about that growth for just a second. Last year we had budgeted 5.5% growth, and we really remained almost flat at the end of the year, growing about a 1%. And that doesn't sound bad in itself. It's nice to grow a little bit. But what that meant is we left over $3 million in the chancellor's office to be distributed to other districts who reached their growth cap. It would be very nice if that $3 million was hit this year. And so I'm going to move into where we are. As of 5 o'clock Wednesday night, with 1 day remaining before school started for enrollment, we had 16,709 students enrolled. That probably doesn't mean much to you, but from a headcount point of view, that's a 33.1% increase of the same time a year ago. And from an enrollment point of view, that's 41.6% higher than a year ago. Now, don't get too excited. I don't think you're going to have people standing on each other's shoulders in your classroom. We did so much to get students to register early that we hope that we don't have a very heavy after school starts enrollment, so that you can get about the job of teaching and they can get about their job of learning as quickly as possible. So we hope those numbers don't hold, but it is such a good sign, because last year we had a wonderful summer and I thought we would see exceptional fall growth, and we did not see it. This year summer grew by 10%, and it appears that that trend is going to hold into the coming year. And if all things work out well, we'll certainly exceed the 2.5% growth that we had budgeted for, and with any luck at all, we'll reach and exceed our growth cap and be able to capture some basic skills additional monies as well. I also want to point out an area that has grown remarkably, and that is the online distance education program. Over the past year, it doubled from what it was the year before, and it has grown another 25% this fall alone. 3,200 students, in excess of 3,200 students, are enrolled online now. It's the fastest growth, and more importantly, the waiting lists are also full. There is great demand, and when I talk about what we're going to look at in the future, we're going to look at the possibility of not only online classes, but hybrid classes combining face-to-face learning and online instruction, which may be the best of all worlds in this modern technology day. We met and exceeded by over 10% our goals to increase the awarding of certificates and degrees. And I think that's remarkable. In fact, a goal of 2% became greater than 15% accomplishments in the awarding of degrees and certificates. We are meeting our Partnership for Excellence goals in a way that's unprecedented in the state, and it's, again, because of your work. We also had a lot of descriptive goals that we talked about, and we've met almost all of those, although we have a long ways to go on some of the others. You should all be applauded for what has been accomplished in the last 12 months. It happens because we live together, and the burden of educating and helping students learn is made easy when we do that. Let me talk about a couple of other statistics. I've mentioned new programs. From June until this Monday, counseling had served over 5,660 students in counseling appointments, in the new Assessment Counseling Express, in planning workshops, in the new arena registration, which allowed us to not have a void between when we really ended early registration and when we registered late. And so I want to recognize the counseling staff, the EOPS staff, the DSPS staff, and their leadership for just an excellent job this summer. While some of us had an opportunity to vacation, they were busy at work seeing that students had excellent education plans to meet their goals. So all of you who are in any of those three areas, would you stand just for a second? Mark, I see you back there. All the counselors, all the EOPS, DSPS, thank you. And let me also applaud our instructional deans, Catherine Campbell, Hazel Hill, and Marianne Cox. The distance ed growth that Catherine's responsible for, I've mentioned to you, but there also are new and exciting programs and expanded offerings in our regional education. We have new partnerships with high schools that will be coming online in the spring, in January. And more importantly, we have developed a cadre of new programs to help students succeed. So I want to thank all of them for their efforts. And then I want to tell you about one more thing. 6 years ago, our budget collapsed because we lost two programs, the California Youth Authority and the California Department of Corrections. Because of the work of Jared Zawicki and Hazel Hill, those programs have been reinstated with new rules, and with the cooperation of the leadership of those programs in the state, we can anticipate probably over 600 full-time equivalent students by the end of the year. And not only did we renew those, we thought CYA has started. We have 48 active students involved in CYA right now. We thought we were going to teach a class for 12 weeks and the capacity 60, and then wait 12 weeks and start another one 12 weeks after that. The demand is so great for their learning that we'll be starting classes every 12 weeks. The maximum of 60 will be realized. And they've asked us to to double that offering for the rest of the year just in CYA alone. Now, we're hiring these instructors this year because you know we got in trouble when we didn't do it right before. So we're not going to meet those demands because we want to make sure that the faculty that are hired meet the requirements of the state. And Jared and Hazel and Liz and her staff have been doing a marvelous job of making sure that people meet minimum qualifications so we don't repeat a problem of the past. But you know what that does in terms of helping us become healthy again. And speaking about Liz and Paul and their staff, I want you all to recognize them for the work they did. All those people who stood up at the beginning were hired in last year. And you could put, in some cases, more than 20-fold the number of papers that needed to be processed to get those people on board. They did a marvelous job. They did it without much reward, certainly not verbal, but they do an excellent job. So would all the people from HR stand? They're all working. There they are. And finally, I need to tell you that what's happened when you see marvelous growth figures like 33%, 41% in enrollments, it doesn't happen without an exceptional admissions and records staff supported by a technology staff that has made it all happen. Catherine Mooney and her staff. Catherine, would you all stand, the admissions and records folks? Catherine also is one of the leaders in the retention effort, but let me talk a little bit about what you can do today. We will be distributing all of your class rosters, but you can access all of them online as of last night. And so we have moved into a goal that I established a year ago, that we move towards paperlessness as a college. We will distribute them in hard copy because we know it's a change this year, but by spring we hope that you access the electronic world. And if Roger's pushing us to make sure that we have electronic rating, we're going to get there, right? Not as quickly as we wanted to. Catherine's beating him over the head because he's really pushing and driving, but that's going to make your job all that much easier too. And more importantly, it'll allow us to post grades for students in a timely and effective manner when that happens. And so we're making great strides. So Lee Bellarmino and his staff, all of you, would you please stand? Where are you? Their leadership has just made this institution a phenomenal, and I will venture to guess, simply the best in technology anywhere in the state. And we really, really appreciate their efforts. The campus remains beautiful. The maintenance, custodial, the electricians, everyone has done a marvelous job with a laundry list of projects over the summer that were almost all completed. We're still working on the new studio, and I'm glad to see Jim Vergara here this morning. He's been working hard to do that. Jim, thank you for taking time out of what I know is a pressing schedule. Would all the maintenance, custodial, grounds people stand that are in the room? All of you. Thank you so much for your efforts. And the last group that we seldom realize really make the difference. None of us can get anything done without the foundation of any institution. And would all the people in purchasing, clerical, administrative services that we have not recognized please stand also. Everything is ready to go, and it's because of their efforts. And last, oftentimes we don't give credit to organizations, and particularly administrators we kind of avoid talking and saying nice things about unions. But I want to compliment both all three of our unions, our POA, our faculty union, and our classified. I want to first of all honor our classified union. They are celebrating their not ours, but CSEA is celebrating their 75th anniversary this year. And they provided leadership to students through that effort for now 75 years, 1926. So I want to recognize them. I want to thank both them and CTA for explaining this issue of agency shop so well to all of you who may not want to be in those agency shops. The law has been passed, and you'll get more and more information from your union, and I think the leadership of the unions have done a great job of keeping everybody informed, more importantly, of answering those very difficult questions that get asked to human resources and to my office about why that happened. Last, I want to talk a little bit about where we're going. And the first thing I want to say is we have an accreditation visit coming up this spring. And Matt Wetstein has assumed his new role as the Interim Dean of Research and Planning, and he has posted on our website, is it done now, Matt? Our website, the 10 standards. We'd like you all to look at that, make your comments, improve it, criticize. I have made a pledge to all of you that I don't write those accreditation reports, you do. And I don't edit those accreditation reports, you do. It's your report about this institution, and I would hope that you would all go online and read what your committees have written and make suggestions to improve that. We will turn that self-study into the Accrediting Commission in October, so we'll need your feedback, and we really welcome your comments on that. It is in very draft form. You'll have some, I hope, constructive criticism because it is in draft form, and we welcome that criticism as well. Secondly, the Academic Senate, Roger will talk to you in a minute. You're still going to attack this issue of an academic calendar. I'll let him go into that. And I've asked him to address what I mentioned to you earlier, that issue of what I call hybrid classes in online and face-to-face instruction. Now, why? And I'll tell you why, because we've been battling this issue of the 9-to-1 classes all my career, of being full and trying to spread the day out. But the frank reality is that our customer, our student, demands the 9-to-1 classes, or online, or convenient classes to them. And if this hybrid program that could, and this is just an idea, it's not prescribed, could have 1 hour of face-to-face instruction complemented by the equivalent of 2 hours of online instruction, it could allow us to triple, at least in the general classroom areas, the amount of offerings we have for those students, assuming we can have faculty and others to teach those classes. So there's some opportunity to look at the way students are demanding to learn today with what we know is academic integrity in combining those two things. And so the Academic Senate has been asked to look at that issue this year, and I'm sure Roger will have a lot more to say about that. And also look this year for a new partnership, and we hope it's going to happen with Caterpillar. Our faculty in the Diesel area has been working all summer with Dr. Hill, Dr. Aline Kachina, to work with Caterpillar, and we think we're the finalists at this point in time. The principals met with us last week. They've elected to recommend Delta College to Caterpillar to train all the Caterpillar technicians for the states of Nevada and California at San Joaquin Delta College. And it's because, again, of two things: excellent faculty, great enthusiasm, and wonderful facilities due to all of the work of everyone. And so I want you to look for that. It's another, what I call a bell ringer program for San Joaquin Delta College. And this year you will see the first new building on campus since the Child Development Center. And I want to single out Dr. Judy Murphy for her efforts to bring a microscopy building to San Joaquin Delta College. Judy, are you here? I saw her earlier today. Judy, where are you? Oh, there you are. Stand up. Judy has worked tirelessly for, 10, 11 years to make this become a reality. Forever, she says. She's worked forever to make this happen. I want to recognize her efforts today in front of all of you, because this unique program and unique building, something that has not been done in community colleges in California, is a reality because of her. So I'd like to give Judy a hand. Thank you. We will be breaking ground next month on that facility, and I know at some point you'll probably say, why did Judy do that? Because some parking lots will be her, but it's not Judy that did that. It's where we had to place the building. But that'll be right outside of Holt, and you'll see that construction begin very shortly. You'll also hear about the possibility of a bond campaign locally for the year 2000, November of 2002 general election. The board is now in the exploratory phase of, they've already hired a financial advisor on bonds. They'll be looking at a campaign manager and pollsters soon. And I could tell you we'll poll our district first before we do anything else to see whether or not a general bond campaign will work in our very large 2,300 square mile district, a district that I always hear Catherine Campbell say that is the equivalent to the state of Vermont. That's a big district with a lot of diverse thoughts and ideas politically, and a very difficult district to serve. So we're going to find out what the voters will and will not support, and we may, assuming that the information comes out back positive, enter into a very aggressive bond campaign this year. And we're going to need, if that happens, we're going to need every one of your support and your help to make it a reality. Community college bonds, particularly community college bonds in conservative areas, have not been successful in the previously required 2/3 bond elections. But I'm also guessing, since all K-12s will be going out on bonds in this coming year, as will many of the community colleges, that the 55% now majority is going to be difficult to achieve. And so we'll need all of your efforts. And what that will bring is, you've heard a lot about Tracy, but it'll also bring, if passed, regional education improvements in Manteca by improving that center, adding more classes there, and making our agriculture laboratory a reality and a showpiece for the agriculture community. And we're looking at a regional center in the north part of the district, although we haven't identified the space or the location yet. Somewhere in the Lodi-Galt area, we'll be looking for property if we do go out on this bond. But more importantly, we'll be looking at improvements on this campus. This is the core to our district. And we'll be looking at a new library, a new classroom building, possibly a new culinary arts building, and other improvements that will make this campus the best it can be as well. You'll hear a lot about that in the coming year, and again, I'll get up here and get on my knees and beg for your support if we go in that effort, because it'll take all of our, talk about lifting together. That will be our real opportunity to lift together to alleviate that burden. Let me finish, and I know I can't finish my remarks on a day like this without talking a little bit about money in the budget. The good news in the budget is the governor did give us a 3.87% COLA, which means all of you will be seeing a 4.37% increase in your salaries. So you need to applaud the governor for the good news. And growth money is going to allow us to grow, even though we've only budgeted for 2.5%, up to 6.88%, and then we can grow more than that, almost 10%, to capture basic skills, because we far exceed our minimum requirements in the basic skills area. And the governor gave us money to be able to do that. But we did lose $1.7 million in continuing money in the governor's budget. And it's in what I consider two of the critical areas, one that most people don't see, and that's the scheduled maintenance or deferred maintenance area. This campus is beautiful, but to remain beautiful, we need to have support in the scheduled maintenance area from the governor. That money was not only cut from this year's budget, but since it came out of the base, it's cut for the future unless we reinstate that money. And there's a concerted effort that many of our people, Matt Wetstein, led by Trustee Cerna, went to a meeting earlier in the week, and all of the constituent groups will be asked to work with each of you in a letter writing campaign and other things to inform the governor that not only is it necessary to reinstate scheduled maintenance, but more importantly, we lost instructional equipment money. And let me talk a little bit about that. I just recognized Judy for the hard work. And in order to get that building, we had to compromise. We had to say we would pay for equipment ourselves. And guess which fund we were going to use to fund that equipment? It was the instructional equipment account, not all of it, but a good portion of it, to make sure that when we open this modern facility in a very highly technical area, that the equipment the students were going to use were the best, most modern that we could afford to buy. And thanks to having a bid come in under, we're going to be able to use $700,000 of that money to get some of the equipment. But we had slated $700,000 in the next 2 years, a total of $1.4 million to go to that building. We won't have it, not only for that program, but for all of our programs and all of our new technology and all the things that our students get to learn on here at Delta College that make this simply the best without a reinstatement of those funds. And so I, again, will challenge you to work in the next 2 to 3 weeks on a letter writing campaign, because the legislature will vote either on new legislation for that $98 million that was taken out of our budget, or there's even talk of a override of the governor's veto, which would be unprecedented and probably very unprecedented with a Democratic majority in both sides of the legislature in Sacramento and a Democratic governor. But that talk is ongoing. Although I don't think they'll get that, I do think that there'll be a concerted effort by the leadership of both the Assembly and the Senate to reinstate the $98 million. But it won't happen unless you do what we've done so far, and that's write letters. You've probably seen editorials and my name in the newspaper. I will keep that up because this issue must continue. Because if it doesn't, that money's going to be made up out of everything else that we have. And so we need your help. We aren't in trouble financially. We will do well this year because of the growth and because of the management that all of you did with the budget last year. So we're not going broke. I'm not going to sit up here and say we're going broke. We just need to make every effort we can to make sure that we can reinstate our budget with the $1.7 million that we just lost. I want to conclude today by saying I commit to you continued efforts to make this simply the best and in simply the best way we possibly can. And that's working together to make the learning experience for students at San Joaquin Delta College the best it can be. I want to thank you. I want to welcome those of you who are back. I want to thank all of you who worked through the summer with us and some of you who allowed me to have some time off. I want to thank you for the efforts you made. We've got a great start to the year 2001, 2002. I have very optimistic hopes that it's going to be the best year ever in our history, and I want to thank you for making me feel that way. Best wishes, and remember those 10,000 minds, that new students will come in with open minds. Our job is to fill those minds and help them succeed to reach their goal. Thank you. Now you'll get an opportunity to meet the new people. Linda Kelso, Roger Waller, and Catherine Mooney will introduce the new people to you now. Linda?
Thanks, Dr. Gould, and welcome back, everyone. As programs expanded this year and people have retired and people have left Delta, our classified professionals have grown by 45 members this year. Classified professionals are a special bunch of people here on campus, and while some of us are here enjoying the program, many others are out there helping our students prepare for their first day of class. I'll go ahead and start with the introductions, but I'll ask everyone to wait and stand after I'm completed. That will save a little bit of time here. I wanted to say, though, first that after reviewing all of the people, it's really nice to see that a lot of our new classified professionals have graduated from Delta and have used our programs and services to further their careers. Our first new person is Sheila Aguila. She's an instructional support assistant in communication skills. Then Sharon Allen, she's the Secretary 1 in the Disabled Student Program Services. And Sharon has 2 AA degrees, one in business and the other in computer science. She likes working with the students and says the people here are wonderful. Dana Baker, she's a science laboratory technician in science and math. Dana's a graduate of our EM program here, and she likes Delta because of the team concept, and everyone here helps each other. Carl Beath, he's one of our computer support technicians in the information services. And he likes working here at Delta because it lets him continue his education. He's currently in the Cisco Academy and is working on his Microsoft certification. Candace Bishop, she's a food service assistant 1 in the Child Development Center. And she's another Delta student who started working in the cafeteria and after a couple of years became a permanent food service assistant. Timothy Blumberg, He's an account clerk 1 in the Child Development Center. Robert Coda, he's a groundskeeper in the grounds department. Sharon Dagling, she's an instructional support assistant in the fine arts department. And Sharon likes the cooperative environment that Delta has. And she loves playing bridge and is actually looking for a bridge partner here from Delta. Richard Eckerty, he's a reprographics technician in information and facilities. And when I met Richard, he said he enjoys this stress-free environment here at Delta. I know. But this allows him to have more time with his children. Bettina Engelman, she's a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. And Bettina came to us from Austria 16 years ago, and what she wanted to do was teach children about classical music. And she started here at Delta as a community service instructor, and now she's working in the Child Development Center teaching children the music. Verna George, she's one of our regional education monitors. Adija Hill, she's the typist clerk 3 in the library services. And she enjoys meeting people and likes the Delta atmosphere here. And I'm sure many of you have met her. Barbara Kirby, she's a senior office assistant in risk management. And she's happy to have a job that she can now call home. She had worked for a temporary agency for 1.5 years before coming to Delta. Connie Coring, she's an ITV monitor from Regional Education. Julie Lang, she's a senior office assistant in the foster education and independent learning program. And she's really new. She's only been here 6 weeks, but she likes it because her son is also attending Delta. Wendy Leiginger, she's with the student program, well, she is a student program assistant in the Disabled Student Program Services. And Wendy has been on campus for a long time. She's a graduate of Delta and Stanislaus. And while she was going to school here, she worked in mobility, DSPS, and was involved in what was known as DSA ESA, which is now the new ASB. Evelyn Lim, she's the secretary too in student services in John Williams' office. And another Delta graduate. Terry Littlefield, a typist clerk 3 in regional education with the AmeriCorps program. Willard Living, he's the multimedia technician with information services. And Willard came from Stockton Unified, where he was a substitute teacher and a special education assistant. And he wanted to come to Delta because he sees great growth opportunities here. Felicia McNeil, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center, and another graduate of 2001. Shauna Mority, a resource specialist in CalWorks. Cam Savong Namtheo, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. She also goes by Cam, and she's an evening instructor there. Robert Niedheimer, he's a planetarium technician with the Information and Facilities Department. He's actually a railroad buff, and today he's unable to make it because he's volunteering his time at the California State Railroad Museum in Jamestown. Wendy Ostrom, she's the Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center and another graduate in the class of 2001. Kit Fong Fan Sun from Admissions and Records. He's an Admissions and Records Clerk 1. Deborah Piombo, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center, and she works with the infants over in there and enjoys every minute of it. Samantha Powell, an Admissions and Records Clerk 1 in the Admissions and Records Department. And she started Delta in the Tutor Center and was working towards her English degree. And she likes working here because of the diverse backgrounds. Ella Presley, she's the Secretary 1 in Library Services. And Ella, she enjoys all the people here at Delta, and she really likes not having to commute to the Bay Area anymore. Renee Ramirez, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. And she comes from the Children's World Learning Center here at Delta, and she likes the friendly and professional people here at Delta. Julie Reeder, also a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. Sheila Ricketts, she's a Regional Education Monitor. Allison Rosselli, she's an account clerk in the Business Services. Actually, right now she's on maternity leave. A brand new mother of just 1 week, had a daughter, and I'm sure you'll all see her at one point or another because she does the travel claim checks. Lavana Rod, she's a typist clerk 3 in the Science and Math Department with the MESA program. Mary Ruiz, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. And when she started Delta, she was a CalWorks volunteer and then a substitute in CDC. And she's finally made it and has a permanent position with us. Sokantari Saray, she's also known as Terry, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. Patrick Stapleberg, a graphic artist in the Information and Facilities Office. And actually, I'm sure most of you will see Patrick. He's out in the foyer taking pictures of the new staff. So please stop by and say hi. Valerie Stewart Green, she's the Executive Secretary to the President and Superintendent in the President Superintendent's Office. And Valerie, she has a degree in business administration, and she's looking to continue her education for her master's. And she likes to work at Delta because of our goal to educate and the focus on diversity and how we continue to strive for it. Brian Travis, a computer support technician in information services. And he also is another worker, a student. He was a student worker, and he was taking night classes. He recently obtained the permanent position, and he's still continuing his education. Tamara Von Hook, a Learning Advisor 1 in the Child Development Center. Another employee who has gone through the CalWorks program, volunteering, working as a substitute, and obtaining a permanent position here on campus. William Wilson, he's the art gallery technician with the Fine Arts Department. He comes to us from Ohio, where he received his bachelor's degree in fine arts from Youngstown State University. He's active in all areas of fine arts, ranging from director-producer of performance art productions to an illustrator in publications. We have a talented person here. Marsha Boyd, she's the Independent Living Program Coordinator with the Foster Care Independent Living Program. And she's only been here about a month. And she was a foster youth trainer last year, and she was so excited when this job opened because she said, "This has my name on it." Susan Burke, she's the dispatcher with Campus Police. She just started this week. She's our newest member, and she's a practical joker if you haven't already met her. She raises, breeds, and shows Cocker Spaniels, and she's had a top producer and top winner of Cocker Spaniels in history. So if anybody likes animals and dogs, she's the one to ask. Darcy Palmer, she's a network coordinator with Information Services. She has been hired, but she's not working yet. She's not going to start until November 1st. And then we have LaShawna Parker, the student program specialist from CalWorks. And now if there are any of those classified professionals which I just introduced, if you're here, please stand for recognition. On behalf of the Classified Senate, we wish everyone a great new semester. And now, Roger Waller. Thank you.
I have a CD of my comments if you want these after the show here today, but it's T-minus about 68 and a half hours. So I've figured this out that it's about 68 and a half hours for me to finish my syllabus to get ready for Monday morning. And so I think we're all going to be ready and excited like Dr. Gould talked about. I get the opportunity of introducing our new employees, and what I'd like to do is to ask them to stand, and I'm going to be very brief. I think Catherine was kidding me about we're now in the minus territory, but we'll be real quick. So let me see, is Nick Bykoff here? Nick? Oh, this is last year's list. Sorry, Nick. No, but Nick has been with us a year, but yes, that's right. Yeah. Back for 2. This is good. Next, I'd like to ask Brett Atwood, who is one of our new employees this year. Where's Brett to stand up? Brett, now stay up. Brett is really, I think you'll enjoy meeting Brett. He's our new person in broadcasting, and I have to get like a broadcaster here. But Brett has worked at, I think you'll find this fascinating, at Rolling Stone Radio, where he was one of the original founders of Rolling Stone, and he participated as both on-air talent and a producer. And most recently, he was with Amazon.com. So if you've had any bad orders come through, see Brett. So Brett, welcome to Delta College. Next, Daniel Baker. Oh. That's a great point, and I did forget that Brett earned an A in Ginger speech class. Brett is a Delta College graduate, so I should have mentioned that for sure, and that which is terrific. Next, where's Dan Baker? Dan's in the back. Dan obtained his BA degree from the University of California at Davis and his master's degree from Cal State Sacramento in counseling. He's joined our counseling staff, and he'd worked at the Los Rios district, and since 1990, Dan has been working at Ohlone College, and he lives over in Brentwoods, and is, instead of turning and going, I guess that'd be southeast every morning, you're turning and going like directly, or southwest in the morning, you're now going directly east to come to Delta. So Dan, welcome to Delta College. Anthony Canella, where's Anthony? Anthony is also in the back. He obtained his BA degree in sociology from Cal State Chico, which meant he spent 4 years partying up in Chico, California. After he concluded that, he achieved his master's degree at Cal State Sacramento. He is involved and employed here at Delta in the Puente program, and he's done that also for a number of years at Sac City College. And he's a member of the Sacramento Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and a number of other activities. And Anthony, welcome to Delta College. And down over here, I checked it out earlier, Sam Hatch. Sam has received his AA degree, another Delta College graduate, and his BA in English from the University of California, Davis, his MA in English from UCLA. And he's been teaching at And we really should commend Sam, because Sam has, I've heard Sam introduce himself, and he says since 1981 he's been teaching and training students at Lodi Unified School District and sending them here to Delta College. And he's also been an adjunct faculty member here at Delta for a number of years. Welcome to the full-time staff, Sam. We have Fred Lather. Where's Fred? Fred's also in the back. Fred earned his Master's of Business Administration degree with a computer science emphasis from the University of Miami and a BS degree in aeronautics from NYU School of Engineering. He's taught at Chabot, Las Positas, as well as Cal State University Hayward, worked as a programming analyst for Cal State University Hayward, and was a principal management analyst for Lawrence Livermore Lab. Now, Fred is very familiar with our potential plus-minus grading because he recently taught a course in systems and analysis and design and C++. That's the really plus grading. So, Fred, welcome to Delta College. We have Nancy Mangum. I don't know if Nancy is with us today. Nancy is our new librarian. She received an AA degree from Pasadena City College, a BA degree from Stanford University in anthropology, and a Master's of Library Science degree from San Jose State. She's been employed at Stanislaus County Library, where she served as head of reference, and at the University of Pacific Libraries and a number of other libraries in the area. And so she's going to be a fine addition to our library staff. So Nancy, welcome to Delta College. Next, I have Grant Narita. Where's Grant? Grant's down here in the front. Grant obtained his BA degree in computer science from Cal State University Hayward, and then he achieved his Master of Arts degree in counseling from San Jose State. And I should point out that Grant worked for Claris Corporation, so if you ever have problems with Claris Works, check with Grant down here. But he's also been a counselor at Evergreen Valley College, and he joins our counseling staff here at Delta. Grant, welcome to Delta College. Next, we have Melanie Sanchez. Where's Melanie? Melanie's holding up the sign back there, need graphic art, see me, because Melanie has a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in printmaking from San Francisco Art Institute. She's done full-time teaching here at the Weber Institute of Applied Science, and she's been teaching here at Delta College in our adjunct faculty group since 1999. She holds teaching credentials in printing and graphics arts and electronics. And I know that if you ever need anything in the graphic design or graphic arts area, Melanie, who's the person to see? That's right. So see Melanie. Melanie, welcome to Delta College full-time staff. Next, Sal Vargas. Sal here. Probably have, there he is. There's the guy right there, Sal Vargas. He did not fix my, oh no. Sal is moved into the the faculty. He actually did this in the spring, so this is the first opportunity that we have to say welcome to the faculty to Sal. We all know Sal, and Sal's been a great member of the family, and like I think Linda mentioned, a great talented classified staff that we have here. Sal has moved from classified to the certificated faculty, and Sal, it's great to have you on the team and to stay with the Delta family. Welcome again to the faculty. Next, I have Naeem Zaman. Where's Naeem? Naeem's way in the back. Naeem has a Master's of Science degree in Computer Science from Morehead State University, Master of Science in Science Education and minor in Statistics from Oregon State University, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from Emporium State University, and he's working on a doctorate at Oregon State University. He's part of the program of everybody get at least several degrees, and he's doing a great job. Naeem has actually been with us also since the spring semester. He formerly had taught at Cuyahoga Community College in the best location in the nation, my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, and that he's also done a lot of work with Microsoft. So Naeem, welcome aboard to Delta College. Unable to be with us is Isabel Anives Gamalo. Isabel is joining our faculty as a Spanish instructor. She holds a PhD in Arts and Humanities, and it always is great when, I don't know where I saw Al was here earlier. Al gets to critique my Spanish pronunciations all the time. And so Isabel holds a PhD degree in Arts and Humanities from the University of Leon in Spain. Is that correct, Al? Okay, all right, hey, all right. Thank you, Al. And she is really quite the author, and you should have a chance to talk with Isabel. She can't again be with us this morning, but she is a tremendous author, and it's great to have her on staff. A fine person. I had a chance to meet her earlier this week. So Isabel, welcome to Delta College. Now you're probably all wondering, and I did want to give a plug here that we have an outstanding Flex program coming up, and some of the spots that you really want to go visit is over in Cunningham, where you're going to be learning about our new online programs like what Dr. Gould talked about. So if you get a chance, stop over to Cunningham 226, because we are trying to provide a lot of great resources online for us to do our teaching. And I want to recognize my officers in the Academic Senate, Janice Takahashi, who is going to be completing her 6th year as a first Vice President of the Academic Senate. And Janice, stand up very quickly. There's Janice right over there. John Pappas down here is going to be Secretary of the Academic Senate, so he's going to handle faculty professional growth. And then we have Dean Danielson, who's probably out already coordinating the Flex program, who's done a great job with the Flex program. Where's Dean? Dean's sitting right over there. And certainly the support staff led by Kathy Johnson, Betsy Shimoda, Kazumi Nishioka, and Jeannie Hash have done a great job of supporting us faculty. So Kathy's out there somewhere also. So I want to thank them as well. You're probably wondering what the boombox is down here in front, and I've been working all summer on the Delta College alma mater. I've been trying to work hard on this, and some of my helpers are going to be passing out the words to the alma mater here, and I hope that you get a chance to join in, because I know that Dr. Gould was really the inspiration for this, and I think that when you hear it, I think it'll just sort of leap out at you. And I've been working very hard on this, and I'm going to, sort of play through the first verse, then I'll stop, and then hopefully we all can join into the later verses here. So let me play the first verse for you, and then I think you'll get the flavor of what we'd like to do on the potential alma mater here. Okay, so you're ready to go do this, right? You want this up by the mic? Okay. All right, you want it louder? Yeah. All right, so you ready? Uh-oh. All right, we're all going to join in. Okay, here goes. You're simply the best. My thanks to Tina Turner for volunteering to do that, and my apologies to Charles Jennings out there. So welcome back, and I'll turn it over to Catherine Mooney.
Good morning. We're running real behind, so I'm going to read fast as the wind. If you're one of the managers I'm introducing, if you'd pop up while I introduce you, and if you'd hold your applause until the end, then we'll just do one big round of applause. Let me take a breath here. T.C. Arbuckle, Director of Facilities Management. T.C. started his employment with Delta College in February. He comes to us with 30-plus years experience in facilities management, 2 degrees from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas in hotel management and fine arts. He was a deep-sea diver in the Navy during the Vietnam era. T.C. has worked for the city of Valdez in Alaska, several Alaskan hotels, and in California's K-12 system for San Jose Unified School District, Castro Valley Unified School District, and Oakdale Unified School District. In his spare time, TC enjoys outdoor activities such as fishing, hunting, and flying, and he has been happily married his entire adult life, although he tells me not to the same person. Steve Arena, our Assistant Director of Financial Aid and Veterans Services. Steve started his employment with Delta College in January. He comes to us after serving as the Information Officer for the California Student Aid Commission for the past 19 years. In his spare time, Steve enjoys wine tasting and wine collecting. He is an art and classic music lover. He also enjoys working in the Redwood Winery tasting room in Amador County, where he's worked for the past 2 years. I think he's up there today drinking wine. Jasmine Amon is the supervisor of the Transfer and Career Center. Jasmine has been employed by Delta College for the last 11 years, beginning in 1990 as a community education technician with the Communication Skills Division. She moved to the Career Center in 1994 as their career assessment technician and moved into management in September of 2000 when she became the supervisor of the Transfer and Career Center. Jasmine holds a master's degree from CSU Sacramento in counseling with an emphasis in career counseling. Jasmine has no spare time because it's all used up on our 2 boys, Jordan, who's 2 years old, and Tyler, who's 4. Sally Castellon, project coordinator for the Teacher Track program. Sally began her employment with Delta College as a resource specialist in the CalWorks program in September of 1999. She moved into management as the Teacher Track project coordinator in October 2000, where she recruits students whose goal is to become an elementary school teacher. Sally comes to Delta College with 5 years' experience as a child abuse investigator for Child Protective Services. She has a BA from UOP in sociology and religious studies, and a master's degree in social work. In her spare time, Sally is kept on her toes by her 2-year-old son, Alejo. Dr. Eileen Kachina, Division Chair for Applied Science and Technology Division. Eileen began working at Delta College in August of 2000 as the Division Chair for Applied Science and Technology Division. He comes to us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he worked as a Resource and Development Manager for Anter Laboratories. Previous to that, he worked for 8 years as the Director of Technical Training at the Bidwell Training Center, a private post-secondary school. Prior to his arrival in the United States in 1991, Eileen worked for 20-plus years in resource and development and higher education in his native country of Romania. He holds a PhD in chemical engineering and technology from the Polytechnic Institute in Bucharest, Romania. In his spare time, he enjoys sports, music, and reading. Angelina Campos, I don't know anything about her. She didn't respond to my email. What I do know about Angelina is that she holds several degrees, has several more children, and is a very enthusiastic and energetic employee at Delta College. Greg Greenwood is our Publication Center Manager. Greg began his employment with Delta College in 1993 as a press operator. He was appointed as the Publication Center Manager in July of 2000. Previous to his employment at Delta College, Greg was employed by the Stockton Record and other printing establishments. Greg holds an AA degree from Delta College in graphic communications, and in his spare time, Greg enjoys spending time with his family, his wife Wendy, and 5-year-old son Cole, and a 3-year-old son Noah. Dr. Kathy Hart, who's been here forever. I don't know why we keep introducing her year after year, but we'll go through this again. Kathy began her employment with Delta College in the fall of 1994 as the Assistant Division Chair for the Communication Skills Division. You know, by the way, I'm doing a study, and what I found is that the longer your title is, the more money you make. You know how long my title is? 1 word. Something's wrong here. In December of 1999, she was appointed as the Interim Division Chair for Communication Skills, and in October of 2001, she was appointed as the Division Chair. Prior to her employment with Delta College, Kathy was employed for 17 years as the Director of General Studies, Writing at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. Kathy holds a PhD in higher education from the University of Michigan, and in her spare time, she enjoys reading, listening to music, and attending plays. Tamara Ribble is the project coordinator for the AmeriCorps program. Tamara began her employment with Delta College in 1994 as an adjunct faculty member teaching English. Tamara was appointed as the project coordinator for the AmeriCorps program in October of 2001. Tamara has a master's, October 2000. 2001 hasn't come yet. Tamara has a master's degree from CSU Sacramento in English with an emphasis in teaching English to students of other languages. In her spare time, she relaxes at home where she farms 10 acres of grapes and travels whenever possible. Rita Schuckman, Project Director for the Teacher and Reading Development Partnership. Rita began her employment with Delta College in 1987 as an adjunct faculty member in the Communication Skills Division. After 4 years, she moved to adjunct faculty in the Family, Consumer, and Health Sciences Division. In January of 1998, she was appointed as the coordinator of the first AmeriCorps program. In September of 2000, she was appointed as the director of the AmeriCorps Teacher Track program. Who says we don't have mobility around this place? Rita holds a BA in psychology from the University of San Francisco and a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from UOP and a multi-subject teaching credential. In her spare time, Rita enjoys photography and gardening. I'm out of breath. Claire Tyson, accounting manager for business services. Claire has worked in the accounting field for 23 years with a combination of experience in corporate business, public accounting, and education. After 9 years employment with Delta College, Claire left us, if you can believe that, for employment in a senior management position with a former employee. She returned to Delta as the accounting manager in November of 2000 in business services, where she oversees the general office operation and technical reporting. Claire holds a certificate in accounting and AA degree from San Joaquin Delta College, a BS in accounting from CSU Sacramento, and a master's degree in managerial accounting from CSU Sacramento. After hours, she enjoys time with her husband, daughter, and 1-year-old granddaughter. Paul Keene, the assistant division chair for the Communication Skills Division. Paul brings a wealth of experience and expertise in administration, faculty evaluation, curriculum and instruction and basic skills to the position of Assistant Division Chair for the Communication Skills Division when he joined Delta College administrative staff in July of 2001. If that isn't the longest run-on sentence, I'd like to speak to some of you English teachers. Previous to his employment with Delta, Paul was a classroom teacher, an assistant middle school principal, and an instructor for adult ESL classes. His college-level instructional experience includes 2 years with Chapman University. Paul holds a BA in elementary education and communications from Augsburg College in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a Master's of Education and Curriculum from Chapman University, and he also holds an Administrative Services credential from St. Mary's University in Moraga. Deborah Lewis, here's the longest one, Director of Health Science Programs for the Family, Consumer, and Health Sciences Division. She's got to be making $150,000 a year. Deborah began her employment with Delta College in 1982 as an instructor in the nursing program. She was appointed as the interim director of nursing programs in June of 1999 and the director of health sciences in June of 2001. Deborah has an ADN from Delta College, a BSN from CSU Stanislaus, and an MSN from St. Louis University. She has an ABC and a DEF from... She's currently working on her EDD through the University of Southern California and hopes to complete it sometime in this millennium. In her spare time, she enjoys reading trashy novels. I love truth. Trashy novels, functions as a horse stall caretaker. Now you guys figure that one. And tries to keep her 12-year-old daughter out of trouble. Teresa McRae is the interim division for the Science and Math Division. Teresa began her employment with Delta College in 1997 as a biology instructor. She was appointed the interim chair in June of 2001. Previously, she was a graduate student at Stanford, where she completed her PhD focusing on immunogenetics. Her master's degree was previously completed at San Francisco State in theoretical biology. In her spare time, Teresa thinks about doing theoretical laundry and cooking. She has one dog named Darwin, who is a breed I can't pronounce, who's a huge white furry dog, and a little Rottweiler named Grace. Pender Noriega is the division chair for the Family, Consumer, and Health Sciences Division. Pender began his employment with San Joaquin Delta College in July 2001 as the division chair for Family, Consumer, and Health Sciences Division. Previous to that, he worked for the University of Tennessee as an associate professor teaching hospitality management. He also served as the department chair of business administration at Delaware State University for 3 years. Pender holds a BA in human resources from St. Leo College, a master's degree in public administration from Golden Gate University, and a doctorate of business administration from Nova University. In his spare time, Pender enjoys writing. He's written 5 textbooks and over 100 articles on the gaming industry. You guys want to know how to win, you better talk to Pender. Newest to our team, and not on my list to introduce, but I'll introduce them anyways, Matt Wetstein, the Interim Dean of Planning and Research and Grants. Matt has been employed at Delta College for the last 5 years as an instructor of political science. In August of 2001, he was appointed as the Interim Dean of Research, Planning and Grants Development. Matt earned his PhD in political science from Northern Illinois in 1993. Prior to that, he worked as a researcher in the University Center for Governmental Studies analyzing polling data. He has also worked as a newspaper reporter and editor in his earlier days. I don't know how much earlier, he's like 12 years old. In his spare time, Matt does research on the Supreme Court of Canada with his fiancée, who is a professor of political science at UOP. In his other spare hours, you will occasionally see Matt on the road bike riding to work or in front of the television watching sporting events. Chris McDaniel, Information Technology Manager. Chris began her employment at Delta College in 1984 as a Program Analyst 3 with the Information Services Department, where she's worked for the last 12 years. At Tuesday night's board meeting, she was appointed as the Information Technology Manager. Chris holds a BS in Business Administration from CSU Sacramento. Working at Delta is not all work and no play. In fact, Chris met her husband Neil when they were working together on a project for information services. In her spare time, Chris enjoys photography, riding dirt bikes, and playing with her 3-year-old son, Alex. Neil McDaniel, Information Technology Manager. Neil began his employment with Delta College in 1986 as a Program Analyst 2 in Information Services. A few years ago, he was promoted to a Database Analyst, and at Tuesday night's board meeting was appointed as an Information Technology Manager. Neil holds an AA degree from Delta College in Computer Programming. In his spare time, Neil enjoys riding his dirt bike, watching NASCAR stock car racing, and playing with his 3-year-old son, Alec. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce Dave Sartain, who is also an Information Technology Manager. He was the last person I interviewed, and when I went to print this out this morning, his stuff was missing, so I think I've been hacked. Dave began his employment with Delta College sometime in the 1980s, if I recall what he said, as a senior analyst, and was promoted to an Information Technology Manager at Tuesday night's board meeting. And what he told me was in his spare time, he enjoys golfing and hacking the district's computers. Now, if you'd give me a big round of applause for all of our new managers, if you'd stand one more time. I'd like to welcome you all back and thank you for your time, and I would like to turn this back over to Dr. Gould. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine, Roger, and Linda, and thanks, Roger, you are simply the best and better than all the rest. I'm not going to sing that. Catherine, I've changed your title while I was sitting there. You are now the Director of Missions and Records, Grading, Enrollment Services, Class Rosters, Degrees and Certificates, Customer Relations, and Goodwill and Fast Talk. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, and they're going to talk about time management. No, just kidding. Deborah J. Crumpton is an author, professional speaker, consultant, and business coach who provides solutions for prospering in the new world of work. She is the author of Mastering Change Through Conscious Choice and the creator of Leader Power. Solutions to the New World of Work. Deborah's MBA in management is from Golden Gate University in San Francisco. Uniquely, Deborah is the only professional business speaker who rose from private to major while on active duty with the United States Army. Dollars and Cents magazine has honored Deborah as one of America's best and brightest professional women, and she has been featured in Ebony magazine's Speaking of People column. In 1995, Deborah was one of 12 women selected worldwide by the International Women's Forum to be a Leadership Foundation Fellow. Distinguished as the consummate leader, Deborah has transformed substandard teams, that doesn't apply here, into record-setting ones. She has worked with major companies such as Hewlett-Packard. Now, you got complaints about our people. If you get complaints about HP, talk to Deborah. Office Depot and DuPont. Her training programs are used for the professional development of senior leaders, managers, novices, and foreign nationals. Deborah gives individuals and organizations the tools, confidence, and courage to create and maintain a sustainable competitive advantage in the new world of work. Deborah J. Crumpton.
up. Where are you people going? I was already scared to speak because I said, these people are all in the back of the room. And you all are the faculty, is that right? Oh, I've come just in the nick of time. I can't believe the faculty sitting in the back of the room. And then when he started to introduce me, there was a mass exodus. Now, I'm not so sure what that's about, but that's a scary thing. Now, do you all know something I don't know? Is there something about to happen here? Part of the problem is that you got to shift from the left side to the right side because you're probably floating by now, huh? I was wondering about all of you, and I'm glad that Roger got up there, although the cops are coming for Roger, because you know you just violated every copyright rule there is. And of course, we sent for the medic for Catherine, because I've never heard anyone speak without taking a breath. I thought I was good, but she has me beat. And just to be able to get up on that Titanic of a stage. Now, doesn't that look like the Titanic up there? And you all, I want you to know that you all are no help at all to people on that stage. Look at you way back here in the back of the room. Poor Dr. Gould. I said, does he even know if they're DOA or what? Now, I missed the very first part, but if he said good morning to you, what did you say to him? Did you say good morning? Let's see what that looks like. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, you're a little bit better, but that's because I talked about you. I guess I'm going to need to go up there because, see, if I don't go up there on that stage, some of you are going to say you didn't see me. And then some people who I'm standing right now with my rear to are going to talk about my rear, not seeing my front. So I guess I need to go up there. But you know what? I've come here, I've got a couple of minutes here, and I've been told that I can take as long as I need. But you know, I know that your body won't endure probably another 60 minutes no matter what I do. And although Roger tried to punch up the volume, you guys just would not get with it. How you can resist Tina Turner is beyond me. I mean, I don't know how. See, that's not even normal to resist Tina Turner's music. And poor Brent and all, and Anthony, the party animal who came from Chico just to be with all of you. He probably looked at you all and said, my God, they don't even move till, you know what, till the beat goes on. And this is your first day back, is that right? You all are pitiful. And you all, let me make sure I have this right now. You all are getting ready to help to get students engaged. Is that right? That's what you all expect, is for students to come and see you and be motivated, be turned on, be ready to get it. Is that right? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now let me tell you what I'm here to talk to you about. If you look at the program, and most of you have been studying the program since 8:30, so put it away. You've been doing everything you can except be here. Except be here. I want you to invite you to be here with me for 30 minutes. I'm only going to be here for 30 minutes, I promise you. For 30 minutes. And then when you shift to the left and shift to the right, by the time I'm done, you know, you're floating, you'll be able to maintain until you get to the restroom. So just be with me for about 30 minutes. But I've come to the right place at the right time, I can tell. Because I'm told that this is your day back. And I apologize for those of you who are sitting up front, but usually ain't nobody up there but y'all, so I got to be back here. Now, you know, I would have figured a little bit different when I've come to talk to faculty members, although yesterday I had the same experience down in Texas. I was talking to some faculty members, and they all sat in the back of the room, too. And they look very much like all of you. But they were really DOA. You know what I mean? They didn't even know they had moved from one room to the next. But you all laugh. So I know now that there's a pulse out there. But I've come to the right place at the right time because you know what? You've forgotten your role. You've forgotten the kind of influence that you have. You have failed to tap your leader power. But I've brought it here for you, and when I leave, you're going to have it, I guarantee you. Because you cannot go into the rest of this day from this point on the way you started it. I mean, some of you who are here on the first day, regardless of what you did before this day, you know, some of you didn't take a vacation. Shame on you. And have the nerve to be mad at somebody because you didn't take a vacation, right? Well, then you just don't know how much money I don't make. Well, if you knew what I had to do at home, you would understand why I didn't take a vacation. And if you know, Roger's here counting T-minus 68. What a heart for a new day. You're supposed to be ready for people who are depending on you to give them what it is that you have. If what you all are bringing to them is old energy, then you're bringing old ideas. If what you're bringing to them is a tired, weary spirit and a body that can barely move, then they're going to sit in the back too. And I tell you, on the first time they get a break, they're out of there. And of course, you know all you faculty members, you know how you are. You want to grade them. You got the power of the pen. But I want to tell you about the real power. The real power is called leader power. And I want to reintroduce all of you here at San Joaquin Delta College. I want to reintroduce you to your leader power. Because without it, you will not move this campus, this faculty, this college, your students, your administrative staff successfully into the new world of work. See, each person sitting in this room is a leader. Regardless of, and I love Catherine. I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I know. And it's true, Catherine, the more stuff you have behind, where is she? I'm sure she's coming back. I was standing at the back. I wanted to say to Dr. Gould, stop introducing me. Everybody's leaving. By the time you're done, won't be anybody here. I was standing in the back room. I said to this one woman walking, I said, you coming back? She said, oh, no, I'm definitely not coming back. Oh, and you all are the leaders. Let me gently, in some ways, and maybe not so gently in other ways, remind you of your biggest influence. Some of you think it's your AA, BA, MSW, PhD, MS, all, you think that's your biggest influence. Some of you think because you've been here for 30 years and you know it all and you've been around a little bit. Some of you think because you're published that that's your biggest influence. Some of you may think that, well, you know what, Deborah? I'm just good because I'm just good. And so you think that by virtue of doing that, that you're really going to positively influence people. You mean you've been trying to get me on tape? I bet you got all of my posterior, huh? Somebody should have told me about that part. See, I never go where the cameras, I go where the people are. Don't you all go where the people are? You know, Liz brought me down here. She's going to bring me into the back of the stage. I said, oh, no, I'll be up there all alone. You all won't even put a plant up there to comfort the speaker. That's pretty pitiful here. That's pretty pitiful. They treated me better yesterday in Gainesville, Texas. I'll tell you the truth. Let me tell you about your influence. It's you. People are not going to pay attention to what you say. For those of you who've been in front of them, you already know that, don't you? If they did, you wouldn't be given anything less than an A. And they're probably not going to pay any attention to what you say is right. Because what we know now in this new world of work, that what's right is very much dependent on whose perspective we're looking from. But they will pay absolute attention to what it is that you do. Absolute attention to what it is that you do. And by the integrity with which you do what you say, they may then even believe that what you say may ring valid with them. And by virtue of what you do and the integrity it has with what you then say, they might even give you the benefit of the doubt. And if they give you the benefit of the doubt, then they might even start to attempt to believe that what you say might really work for them. I want to remind each and every one of you here, regardless of your title, your tenure, your seniority, or any of that, whether you raise Cocker Spaniels or turn on to Rolling Stones and have your tongue pierced, not that I don't know if you have that or not, I'm not talking about you, Brett, you do understand that. That regardless of that, that your most significant power comes from who it is that you are. And is the integrity with that that you get to move people forward and influence them. Now, for those of you sitting in the back of the room, I'm not so sure what that's about. But certainly if you had a class and your class came in and sat in the back of the room, I would think that you would say, what's happening with this? And that you would do something to get people to get engaged with you. You know, the old model about education is I speak, you get it. I give it, you regurgitate it. I say do, and you follow. In the old world of work, we were training people to do rather than to be. In the old world of education, we were training students. The new world of work demands that you all create learners. Creating learners means that you have to get people engaged. Creating learners means you have to get people to just get out of the regurgitation mode and get into the questioning mode. For some of you, that might be less than tolerable. How dare you ask me if that's right or if that's valid? How dare you might suggest that there might be another way to do this thing? Now, for all of you who I've just reminded are leaders, and you're saying, Deborah, I just don't see much. I'm an instructor. How does that equip to and add up to being a leader? Well, let me just give you the simple definition of what a leader is and who a leader is. A leader is any person who influences another person. That's what a leader is. And every single person in here influences another person. See, I can see that clearly. Somebody came in and people were sitting on the end of the row. You know, it's really interesting, people who come in late and tell you to get up out your seat and move, huh? I always find, that's like going to a movie. You're sitting in a movie, you know? Some of you haven't been to a movie lately, probably, right? But it looks kind of like this. I can tell that you all have fun all the time. But you know, you're sitting here at the end of the seat, right? And people come in with popcorn, Coca-Cola, and they want to sit invariably right there. And of course, there's no lid on their Coca-Cola. They step all over your feet, right? And then they think that they belong the whole time. Now, some of you kind of have done that this morning. Now, you need to just like check that. Just check that. And some of you kind of came in here, you missed some of Dr. Gould's most poignant points. And I heard him tell people who were here very early about the raises and all those kinds of things that's coming. Now, if you weren't here, you cannot respond to the call to action that he gave you. Don't think you can find out from your buddy, because they were asleep. They missed it. Listen, the most significant influence you have is what it is that you do. And the hardest part about getting ready for change and being credible in the new world of work is that we need to take an introspective look. Leader power requires, and we all have it, because we're all leaders. We all have the inherent ability and the inherent influence that affects other people's lives. And we do it no matter what. You know, we do it if we come in late and we take an inner seat, the people behind us follow us and they take that inner seat. One person gets up to leave, it gives everybody else permission sometimes to leave. One staff or faculty member says, I don't think we should do it this way, and somebody else kind of follows. People are always looking to you, you know. They get clues from what they think is right, what they think is wrong, what they think is appropriate, what they think might get them over, what they think might put them behind. Don't discount your ability and your influence as a leader. Now, you all have power. And I'm not talking about the power that comes with title. And I'm not talking about the kind of power that comes with how much money you earn. I'm talking about the kind of unconscious power that we all have just by virtue of living. We all have it. It's called the power that comes really from choice. Internal power. We all have it. The key to really making the whole thing, leader, power, powerful, is that you consciously step into that space. And you recognize that not only do I have influence, but I have powerful influence. That based on the choices that I make, that I really can influence other people. Have them consider that something else other than their predefined conception might be valid. And isn't that really what education is all about? Education is helping people to break out of and see beyond their own frame of reference, to consider that another point of view might be valid. How ready are you for that? First step in leader power says you need to take stock. You need to take stock introspectively and just look at yourself. And we all need to be looking at ourselves all the time, because we should be in the business of reinventing ourselves. Now, you're in a hard institution that really doesn't encourage reinvention. Education has never encouraged, ever, people to reinvent themselves. They've encouraged us to learn, to be, and to do. It's encouraged us to become experts. And you know, when you become experts, you get great depth, but very infrequently do you get breadth. And so we have become really conditioned to not really change, to not really look at different perspectives. But the new world of work won't tolerate that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you. That our educational institutions, be they Delta College or Harvard University, is now demanding a new kind of attitude in education, and you all are the deliverers of that new kind of education. You need to be about the business of creating a revolution in education. A revolution that has everybody looking introspectively at themselves and beginning with you. Beginning with you. Taking stock says, you know what? After I look at myself and say, how do I really measure up as a leader? Am I really influencing people as positively as I can? What kind of clues am I giving off about what's right, what's acceptable, what's tolerable, what isn't? And in giving out those clues, how authentic are those clues with what it is that I say? We say a lot, but we do most often very little. We think people should, do whatever we call the right thing. But most often the integrity of what we do doesn't necessarily ring true with what it is that we have said. Now, taking stock also demands that we not only look internally at ourselves, but take an external perspective. Let's talk about that for just a few moments, the external perspective. Because sometimes, if you stay in an environment too long, and education has really conditioned us to stay here for a long time. I mean, that's what tenure was all about, right? That's what seniority is all about, is staying there for a long time. But sometimes if you stay at a place for a long time, that's the only perspective that you have. And you tend to think that the rest of the world looks like Stockton, California. Has it? Oh, it doesn't. Very much, right? You think that that all workplaces look like the workplace here at San Joaquin Delta. And so you teach and influence from that perspective. Let me share with you that the reality is that the world has really radically and permanently changed. Radically, permanently. That's the most important part, permanently changed. Some of us, and sometimes I find myself in that category, wish that things were as they used to be. But then I'm reminded that nobody's going backwards. The way to go is forward. And there are three forces that have changed our world, and you know these better than I. The technology is one force that's changed our world permanently. It's eradicated all boundaries. You know that. You know that time is something that we have reinvented. That when we send an email, and I understand you'll have some problems here with email, huh? That when we send an email, unfortunately, we think the answer should be instantaneous, which really means if you want it bad, you're going to get it bad. But we haven't put that one together yet. But in changing demographics says that, you know what? People have different names and they look different ways. I heard someone up here introduce one of the new people, and she said, I think it was Catherine, as she pronounced her long last name, she says, but she goes by Kim. I'm here to tell you that changing demographics says that the only name I go by is the one I've been given. And no matter how uncomfortable that is, for those of us who are not used to pronouncing anything but John, Deborah, Susan, Jane, Harry, that we have to get comfortable with those other names. And we have to study them, and we have to know them, because the new world of work is about this. The new world of work is about celebrating and honoring differences and recognizing people's uniqueness. Now, in education, we have been told and conditioned to look for commonalities. We even train commonalities. That's why everybody tries to get an A. They try to fit into that mold that says, how do I get an A? And and they don't ask too many questions because nobody wants to make the instructor mad. Because the instructor always has the power of the pen. And some of instructors I've had yield that. I failed kindergarten. That was bad. I failed kindergarten because I cut outside the lines. Sent a note home to my mother. My mother put me on remedial cutting. All through my education, my public high school education in New York, I was chastised, punished for talking in class. Now, can you imagine that? Now, you can see how shy and introverted I am. I actually am a shy and introverted person. For those of you, how many of you are familiar with Myers-Briggs? Anybody in here? Myers-Briggs? Yeah, I'm an INTJ. I'm an INTJ. So, that doesn't be an introverted kind of person. But I'm like you. I've learned that, first of all, I need a skill set that will make me successful in the new world of work. I need a skill set that will match what it is I want to do. Now, you can imagine a shy speaker. That would be pretty bad, huh? And, I just can't, I'm here to tell you about this thing called leader power. And, that would be pretty, you wouldn't get that at all, huh? What's wrong with the speaker? All of us have to be about the business of reinventing ourselves. That's what taking stock is all about. Looking at what it is that you're trying to do and figuring out how do you match it up with the skills that you have to create a skill set. You see, in the old world of work, where we were training students, we were giving them skills. I'd like to suggest to you that in the new world of work, you forget about giving students skills. I'd like to suggest to you that you forget about giving students careers. I'd like to suggest to you that you forget about telling students about staying in one place to get experience. I'd like to suggest to you that really what the new world of work is looking for are skill sets. That what you should encourage students to have are skill sets, where they can string a bunch of things that they can do well together to produce a product that has value in the marketplace. Because you can speak, or because you can add, or because you can account, doesn't give you really any kind of license to be employable anywhere. People want to know, employers want to know, can you string all that stuff together your ability to write well, your ability to think, your ability to take grasp of a subject matter, and then can you stand up and present that in such a way so that you can add value to my company? That's called a skill set. And careers are dead. Careers are dead. When our markets opened up and we became a global market, which means really that competition is everywhere, just like the labor pool is everywhere. I would imagine that when they, here at San Joaquin Delta College, when they look for instructors, they go on a worldwide search. That I would imagine all of you already know that your competitors are everywhere. Everywhere. They speak all kinds of languages. That's the new world. The new world says it doesn't really matter what your credentials are. What really matters is what value you can bring. What value you can bring. Now, if you live in a credentialed world, well, that's a little bit different. I mean, you still have to have the credentials, but the bottom line still becomes, what value can you bring? So as you take stock introspectively, we've got to look at the new world and say, how has it changed? Am I really still in the business of creating students, or am I now matching what it is I'm giving students to the new world requirement where people must be learners? Am I preparing people to not just simply do, but to apply their skills in a way that it's a set? And that set can now produce a value-added difference where they go. Am I making people experience where they have this depth of knowledge that may change because competency is a moving target now? What made you competent yesterday may render you obsolete today. Not incompetent, but obsolete today. And so am I now moving students beyond this realm where they have depth and now trying to give them breadth of experience and saying, you know what, you need to go and you need to look at liberal arts and you need to be more rounded and you need to talk to students who are not like you. Am I shuffling up my classes so people just can't sit where they are most comfortable? Am I going out here and touching and meeting students so that they can make a human kind of connection with me, or am I still the instructor standing behind the podium? Oh, touching students. Lord have mercy, Deborah, you must not have heard about the sexual harassment stuff going on here. But you all know that really, that it's all about getting people engaged, and that's why you're in the business that you're in, is to get people engaged. You can see by now I'm not going to stand up on that stage. You all should be entirely comfortable with that. But you can imagine that would not be an engaging experience at all. You can imagine that would not be an engaging experience at all, but I should probably demonstrate that for all of you, because some of you are non-believers out there. Some of you are wondering, well, I mean, how come she's not going to stand on the stage at all? Is she like really scared of the stage? I am. You don't even have a plan up here to comfort me. But I'm going to try to make it up here anyway. I think this is pretty bad. When you all isolate somebody up here like this. I don't know how Catherine made it. And Roger, thank God you had your boom box. All of you should have to come up here and talk for 3 minutes to all of you who are back there. You poor Dr. Gould's eyes. I don't know how Dr. Gould recognized some of you, but he said, I think there's Kevin back there. I mean, the man's probably going to now need to go take some Tylenol. I mean, he had to have been straining his eyes, and you all didn't help him at all. But that's because you forgot your leader power. You forgot that the most significant influence is not what it is that you say, but what it is that you do. And if you had remembered your leader power, you would remember the 3 inherent things that we all know to be true. And the first one is that people do not do what you say, they do what you do. You would also know that you can't take anybody where you're not willing to go. And so you would have moved where it is you think that people who follow you would be willing to go. You would know that every day that you show up is a day that you're on. It's not a day that you practice. And so for those of you who now are here for your very first day, you cannot leave here the way you came in. The way you leave must be with a new awareness that says, it really is a new world of work I'm getting people ready for. I'm getting people ready to go out into this world with new expectations. And let me tell you, just in case you have forgotten or have not read it lately, what the new expectations are that educators must be preparing people for. They're really pretty easy. Fast is one expectation. Fast, easy, cheap, better, and closer to home. Fast, easy, cheap, better, and closer to home. That's everyone's expectation. No matter what product or service you provide, you got to make sure that's right and that matches the expectation. You know, I don't know where you are with distance learning. I heard a little bit talk about that. I don't know where you are with online registration, but if you're like a community college, I live in Sacramento. And if you're like a community college up in Sacramento that I attended a year ago, I was able to register online, but guess what? I couldn't pay online. That's not meeting the new need. Fast, easy, better, cheap, closer to home. The new need says that, you know what? We have to make sure that everybody's really ready to do this kind of thing. Now, you got your best shot on that video, I take it. Listen, I have learned that just in my years of speaking, now, you know, you got to do what's right for your audience, don't you? And see, all of you are faculty. So to do anything that I don't believe in and doesn't serve me well would not serve you well. I'm sure that's how you teach too. That you do what's most effective for the people that you are working for. I'm here really to make a connection with you. Because I just want to reintroduce you to something that is fundamentally, vitally important. Don't take what you do lightly. People sit in front of you because they believe that you have part of the answers they need to have a better life. That's why they sit in front of you. They take their time and their effort, no matter how you think they're giving it to you, as best they can, because they think that you can make a positive difference in their lives. You owe that to them. You owe it to yourself. For those of you who have, and education can make you kind of stale. Any place that you stay too long can really make you kind of stale. And when you've been conditioned into some kind of environment that says, just go for depth, you forget to bring breath into your own life. And some of you haven't looked at other disciplines. It's interesting how all of you were introduced this morning. Some of you saw one another, some of you didn't. Some of you turned around to see the other person, some of you didn't. I would just ask you, does that serve, which one of those serves you best? How well connected are you to the rest of the faculty here at San Joaquin Delta College? You see, change is all about looking at ourselves and saying, where am I really? As I know now and recognize that I have leader power, is it really used most effectively? Do I really yield the kind of influence that is always going to be, at least as consciously as I can make it, positive? Positive. Leader power is all about getting in touch with not just what you do, but who you are. It is the new model for success in the new world of work, because it says the answer is not out there, the answer is really right here. And that it's not about change that's occurring out here, it's about you and I being part of that change. And so leader power says, first of all, take stock. I want to just suggest to you that you all take stock. And taking stock starts by just looking at how it is that I am and asking some really tough questions as you begin this first day. And if you come back and you're a little bit tired because you forgot to take that vacation, take some time right now and start to just re-energize yourself. You know, like I do from our science classes, that energy creates energy. And so you just need to get moving. Some of us need to move a little bit faster, right? Some of us just need not to just drag along, right? If we just move a little bit faster, pick our heads up, get our carriage back, we will discover new energy. Well, Deborah, that may hurt. Don't take any Tylenol to deaden the pain now. You got to stay in that moment. Some of us need to be reintroduced to our bodies and recognize that, first of all, our bodies are really meant to move, right? And when we get back in those classrooms, we need to get busy moving so we can get some new energy created. You know, we need to get back into exercising, into eating well. We got to do all those things to take care of ourselves. Some of us think that we can continue to go just as we have been. I'm telling you, you will not get to the future the way you want to show up. And the influence that you have will not be the influence that you expect to get. And life is too short if you live 100 years to come up short on life. It just simply is too short. So I want to just suggest to you that you don't continue this day the way you started it. That you just simply consider the idea that you are a leader and that your greatest influence comes from not what you do but who you are. And that you give the greatest clues and have the greatest influence by what it is that you do. And that everything that you do, be it in the bathroom or the boardroom, gives clues to everybody around you. And that, if, you know, it's the bathrooms where you get the biggest stuff. You know, my assistant Connie, who's going to be back here, who's back in the back of the room, she's going to go to the bathroom when all this is over. That's where I get my critiques from. And we go to the men's room too, so the men don't think that you're safe. I spent a lot of years in the Army. I'm very comfortable in the men's room. That's how you find out what's really happening. I don't have time, and even if they're giving me the full hour that I have this morning, I don't have time to talk to you the entire time about how it is we can get busy mastering change and really reinventing ourselves. But it's the core of rediscovering our leader power. And somewhere back there, that lady back there, if you could turn around and give me that binder. See that binder behind you? Yes, this lady right here. Yeah, you're a ginger, aren't you? Are you ginger? Yes. Don't fall down those stairs, Ginger. I could tell she was ginger. She gave somebody an A in her speech class. No, he earned it. He earned it. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Connie would not